Hi guys, today's reading lesson is on finding text evidence to determine the central message of a text. We're going to do that using this week's story, The Wind and the Sun. How did the characters' words and actions in The Wind and the Sun tell us the story's message? How did they teach us a lesson? We're going to work together to figure that out. The first thing we're going to do is think about who the narrator was in The Wind and the Sun, and think about what evidence tells us that. Let's read The Wind and the Sun. One day, the wind and the sun were arguing about who was the strongest. I know neither of these characters is telling the story. If they were, they would use words like me and I. I will read another paragraph to see if another character is telling the story. Look at me, boasted the wind. I can blow clouds across the sky. I can toss cars and houses high. I can blow windmills round and round. I can blow trees out of the ground. That's nothing, replied the sun. My heat is the strongest by far. My heat can melt ice. My heart can melt tar. My heat can dry rivers. My heat can dry land. Watch me melt the ice cream in these children's hands. Back and forth argued wind and sun. Then they noticed a traveler walking down the road. Neither of the characters seem to be telling the story, and another character is not either. The author must be telling the story. There's no one else with them. The next text evidence question we're going to look for is, what are wind and sun like? How do they feel? And how do you know? Let's look back. If we read page 3, we can hear the wind speaking. Look at me, boasted the wind. I can blow clouds across the sky. I can toss cars and houses high. I can blow windmills round and round. I can blow trees out of the ground. We can tell from this text that the wind is very proud. He's very powerful, and he is very proud of what he can do. That's nothing, replied the sun. My heat is the strongest by far. My heat can melt ice. My heat can melt tar. My heat can dry rivers. My heat can dry land. Watch me melt the ice cream in these children's hands. We can also tell that the sun is proud of what he can do. He's very powerful too. What does the author want you to understand about these characters? We can tell by the actions of wind and sun that they both want to be the strongest. We can see this because they decide to have a contest to see who is the most powerful. Our next question is to figure out, through the actions and the words in the story, what is the theme or message of the fable. Let's reread pages 12 through 16 and see if we can figure that out. The sun came out from behind the cloud. First, it began to shine lightly on the traveler. The traveler turned his face to the sun. Then he smiled as he enjoyed the warmth. The sun shone more strongly. The traveler mopped his brow. Stronger and stronger and stronger the sun shone. The traveler opened his cloak. Still, the sun shone stronger and stronger. The traveler grew hotter and hotter and hotter. After a few more steps, the traveler loosened his cloak. Then he tore off his cloak and dropped it on the road. "You win," said Wind. "I am sorry I was so boastful." "Remember, Wind," said Sun, "strength can be used in different ways on different days." "I understand now," said Sun, said Wind. "The better course is to use persuasion, not force." So we can see from the evidence in the text that when Wind tried to force the man to take off his coat, it didn't work. The man just kept holding his cloak tighter and tighter around him. But when Sun used strength to make the sun warmer and warmer, he was able to convince the traveler to take off his coat without forcing him. We can use that evidence from the text to understand that the message is, it's better to convince somebody than to force someone to do something. Can you put that into your own words? What do you think the central message of the text is? This lesson should help you with page 11 in your reading comprehension booklet. You're going to write about the central message of the text, the wind and the sun. Don't forget to tell evidence to prove what you think the message is. Why do you think the message is? What happened in the book to help you prove that? Good luck!